This is Sharon Vornholt with Innovative Property Solutions and the Louisville Gals Real Estate blog, and I'm really happy to have Bill Walston with me today. Bill lives in Tennessee, and he's a full-time real estate investor, a coach, a mentor, and one of his specialties is lease options. So we're going to talk about that today. Bill is also a sought-after tax strategist, and he has a very popular blog called Bill on Business. Hi, Bill. I'm glad to have you today.
Hi, Sharon. Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
I know that your background is in accounting and finance, and you have a master's degree in tax law. Have I got that correct there?
That's right.
Yep.
I'm one of the tax geeks.
So you started out with a business in tax business. Is that correct?
Yep. Right after I graduated, I went ahead and after I got my graduate degree, had started up an accounting practice and practiced for probably about 4 or 5 years before I decided to walk away from that.
Now, you said something to me when we were talking about you were working with real estate investors. So was that somebody that you sought out, or did they just happen to come to you? How did that all work out?
I think it was a combination of both. I've been interested in real estate for quite a while. And when I went into my accounting practice, I tended to kind of gravitate towards that. I started doing some work for a real estate brokerage office and was doing their taxes. And of course, dealing with some of the agents and things like that, it led to actually working with real estate investors. And I worked with them for quite a few years, and I began to notice that the profits seemed to be on the other side of the desk, and that's kind of what caused me to decide to move over into the real estate investing on a full-time basis. That
is just so interesting that you saw the profits on the other side of the desk. So you did that for about 4 years or so. Now, did you have a formal exit plan to make the transition, or how did you make that work?
I did and I didn't. I've always been kind of a self-employed type person. And so my accounting practice, I was actually one of the partners in the practice after I'd done my apprenticeship and got licensed and everything. So I was a partner. So I, of course, was working for myself to some degree, but it was still a job.
Right.
You know, I had clients that I had to answer to. I still had to show up at the office. During tax season, it was just absolutely crazy. But I knew from a very early age, even when I was younger as a teenager, I just do not make a good employee. So I decided that whatever I was going to be doing, I would need to be doing that for myself. So I actually started off self-employed. And as I said, I noticed that the profits were on the other side of the desk. And I also noticed that my real estate investor clients tended to have a lot more freedom, especially during tax season, than I had. And that was intriguing to me. So I did set a plan, so to speak, and began investing. And as I noticed, I picked up my investings and I phased out the accounting practice. And I thought I would be away from that. I thought once I walked out the doors, I'd never do any tax work again. But I love it. I love the tax work, not the paperwork itself, but the tax strategy. And I've been very lucky that I've been in a position to be able to almost combine the two. I still do tax strategies on a coaching basis, and I do it for real estate investors. So I'm combining both of my loves.
And that's great that you can do that, because oftentimes investors, they're very good at investing, but they're not always the best money people or the best business managers necessarily. That's true, I guess, of any entrepreneur. So I'd say that's a great niche that you found yourself in. And it's also one of the things that I find so interesting about your blog, Bill on Business. You have very successfully managed to combine the tax part on your blog and the real estate part on your blog, which not a lot of people can do that very, successfully.
Right, and that's been really a conscious effort. And I think it's because my favorite clients, even when I was in the full-time tax work, was my real estate investors. I just loved working with them. They're a great bunch of people. Their passion for what they're doing is almost contagious, and it's a group of people that I enjoy being around. And so I've considered myself extremely fortunate to be able to combine those two loves and still do both of them. Because as I said, I thought that once I walked away from the accounting practice, I really wouldn't be doing the taxes anymore. And for a long time I didn't. But it seemed like more and more of my real estate investors, the new ones that I was meeting, like you said, were very, very good at the investing part, but they were not very good at keeping a lot of the money that they were making.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like to be able to do is I help people keep more money, keep more of the money that they make. And one of the things I do on my blog is I pride myself on being a tax-deductible lifestyle expert. So once you become self-employed, whether it's in a part-time business, investing in real estate, you almost become a walking tax deduction. Yeah. So there are a lot of expenses and things that you can begin deducting as an entrepreneur that you can't take as an individual. So there are lots of things that you can be doing that are tax deductible, but it's part of your lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. I don't think a lot of people actually are aware of that, but that is a great advantage to being an entrepreneur. If done properly, you can, like you said, have a lot of the things that you would normally pay for end up being tax deductions.
Absolutely.
I know that your strategy that you are, I guess you specialize in is lease options. Now, did you always know was it always lease options, or did you try other strategies before you settled on lease options?
I tried a few other strategies, but I will tell you, back when I started investing in real estate, it was almost you were a buy and hold. That's what people did, and I think you could probably remember that as well. They didn't have a lot of the wholesalers. I'm sure that there were people out there who did wholesales, but you just didn't hear about them that frequently. There may have been some people who did rehabs, but I think most of the time when they were doing rehabs to keep the properties because they were buying holds. Yeah. So I did do some buying. I started off with buying holds. Okay. I found out I really didn't like being a landlord. So I got away from holding on to some of the properties, and found out that with lease options, you got the best of both worlds. You were able to be a landlord without all the headaches of being a landlord, because as the way a sandwich lease option works, you're kind of in the middle with that, but you've got tenant buyers in there, and tenant buyers come into a property with a totally different mindset than a tenant does. They treat the property like it's their own, so you don't have all the headaches of being a landlord. So once I got into that, I found out this is my thing. This is where I want to be. And then I guess my investing strategy has developed over time, because just as you can do flips with properties, you can also do flips with lease options. So it's open to all kinds of strategy. So I guess my investing strategy evolved from lease options. It stayed lease options as the main focus, but I do a lot of different things with them now. And as I've told some of you in the mastermind, I'm even doing my master lease options with commercial property. So you can do single family residences, you can do commercial property, all kinds of things with lease options. And that's why it is my favorite investing strategy, that and subject twos. Yeah.
Well, and I had some rental property for some years, and I came away with the same conclusion as you did. It just really wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like dealing with tenants and the whole tenant attitude. So lease options is, while you sort of have a tenant for a while, it's a temporary thing. And like you said, they view your property or that property with a whole different mindset than your average tenant.
That's exactly right.
So you basically have become kind of a master of lease options. I know that you're developing courses and you're doing mentoring. Would you say that was just a natural progression of your business? Did you envision when you first started out that you would be where you are today, teaching and that sort of thing?
Not really. That was not my intent when I first got into real estate investing. I'm not surprised in a way because I've always taught in some respects. When I first got started out, I was an adjunct professor of accounting for one of the universities in South Carolina where I was living at the time, and so I enjoy teaching. I've always enjoyed teaching, but that really was not my intent. And I think it progressed in the way that people began asking, well, how are you doing this? Can you show me how to do the same thing that you're doing? And I think that's what happens with a lot of us as real estate investors, those that get into the education part of real estate. It's because we are so passionate about what we do. And I think people can see that, and they're excited because we're excited. As I said before, real estate investors can be a infectious bunch. And they communicate that passion, and when people see you excited about what you're doing, they want to know about it. Yeah, I don't know of anyone that has a 9-to-5 job. There are very few people that are as passionate about what they do as real estate investors are. And I would agree with you that you seem to come about teaching just from the people asking you things, then you develop something to show them, and then you look up one day and you've got a whole different business than what you originally thought you would have. Oh, exactly. Now you that's almost how the coaching part of my business developed. People were asking how I was doing things, and I thought, okay, I need to sit down and kind of flesh it out or write it down or put something into place to be able to show them exactly what I was doing. And so I was designing checklists for them and, marketing pieces and things like that. And then you look and you say, oh my gosh, look at all this material I have, Yeah. It's funny how it all comes together, isn't it? You touched a little bit on the lifestyle issue. There's no doubt that real estate investors are some of the hardest working people on the planet. They're always out there going after that next deal or the next whatever. But you can create for yourself a whole different lifestyle. And exactly. I know people that have said, I want to do this for this many years and I'm going to work really hard and then I'm going to kick back. And other people have managed to create passive income streams, and almost from the beginning, they choose the lifestyle over the great big money. So, how has it affected your particular lifestyle? Well, as I said, one of the main reasons that I started looking hard at real estate was I saw the freedom that a lot of real estate investors had. I saw that they worked hard, but I also saw that they were able to play hard when they wanted to. And that was very intriguing to me. So my real estate investing has allowed me to meet people that I would have never met if I was sitting, with the green eye shade behind the desk all day. It's allowed me to go places that I probably would never have gone. My best friends that I have, I've met through real estate in some shape, form, or fashion. Maybe not buying a property particularly, but in either, attending an event or dealing with them online or something like that. But it's all real estate related. So that does allow you a freedom that you don't have. And that's just something that's kind of indescribable. And what you need to do when you're thinking about moving into real estate or something like that, you need to look at your lifestyle and the lifestyle that you want to develop from your real estate investing. Because there, as well as I do, there are a lot of different ways to invest in real estate.
Right.
Okay, if you want a real estate investing business that is going to let you work from anywhere, and go anywhere at the drop of a hat, you're not going to want to be a rehabber. Yeah, because that's something that you need to stick around and keep your eye on. You probably also would not want to go into short sales because they are extremely frustrating to be doing something like that. So when you actually design your lifestyle, and that's what I tell a lot of people who are thinking about going into this, and I ask my coaching students this same thing when we first start working together. I say, okay, tell me what you envision your lifestyle to be. What do you want to be able to do? What do you want real estate investing to provide you with? Mm-hmm. And then you determine your investing strategies based on that. Right. So you don't just sit down and say, oh, I'm going to jump into short sales, or I'm going to jump into rehabbing, because that might not be conducive to what you really want to do. Yeah. And it gets back to what you said as well, that some people would rather not have the big bucks, but they have the freedom that they want. I've got a good friend who only invests and only works like maybe 6 months out of the year.
Oh, wow.
Okay, she way cuts back her income because she can make a lot more income if she's working those other 6 months. But she likes traveling. Yeah, so she might work a month and then take a month off. And it's worked out well for her. But she's not buying, the yachts and the private planes and even the big cars or the big house. Mm-hmm. She doesn't focus on the things that we could all get as real estate investors if we actually wanted to.
Right. Well, I think that is just so important for people to understand. For anyone that's wanting to make the change and leave that job and be an entrepreneur, go into real estate, what advice would you give them if they want to make that transition a little bit easier?
I would tell them to decide what they want to get from their real estate investing. I think that's the biggest thing because, to be perfectly honest, real estate investing is not for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, real estate investing is different. There are lots of ways to make income. It doesn't have to be just real estate investing. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if that is what your passion is, you want to move into real estate investing, you need to decide what you want to focus on, what you want your investing strategy to be, and study that and get that in place before you try to make that jump. And just jump in, because you may find out that what you thought was going to be a good strategy for you isn't a good strategy at all. Mm-hmm. So you have to be flexible and look at what you want your lifestyle to be, and then design your investing strategy around that.
Excellent advice. Excellent. Well, Bill, I so much appreciate you coming on today and telling us about your business and giving us your expertise. And I'm going to put a link to Bill's site, billonbusiness.net, on the below the video. And I know that you've got a free report on your site that people can get. You want to tell them what that is?
I do. Actually, I have a couple of reports. One of them is 17 tax deductions the IRS doesn't want you to know about for my tax people who might be interested in that. The other is a report on lease options. It's called Winning with Lease Options, and it tells why I think that lease options just rock. I think that they're the best investing strategy that anybody can be in. Of course, I'm a little biased, but that's what that report is all about.
Well, good. So I'll put that link below the video, and I encourage everybody to head on over there because Bill's got a lot of great stuff on his site, and I know that you're always there to help people along the way. So once again, thanks, Bill. And This is Sharon Vornholt with Innovative Property Solutions and the Louisville Gals Real Estate Blog, and we'll be back soon with another interview on Escaping the 9-to-5, How I Did It. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Sharon.